Hello. Oh, I can't hear you. You need to unmute.
I say I'll never
Ah,
understand why things will go so smoothly
yes.
one
Well,
time.
yeah, you were muted when you said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's why I repeated myself.
You said, "Isn't it nice when everything goes smoothly?"
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and I do. Who knows? I don't want to go into all that. But
Well, we
hello.
won't go into that, but here we are, right at the dot of 7 o'clock, our 49th
I
show.
was going to ask you.
Oh, I know. Usually we do like a drum roll. Sorry.
Hi, Rosalind.
You can ask me again at the end of the show, and I'll remind you. Um, yeah. So here we are, the 8th day of the 8th month. Can you believe it's August?
Oh, I don't have any. To be perfectly honest with you, I have no conception of time anymore because I don't mean to say this as a complaint, but I work a lot. So when you work a lot, you just kind of get into this cycle. Sleep, get up, work, sleep, get up, work. Today was cleaning day, as you know. How about
Yes, I do know that. Yeah. You know how many? I can't tell you. Why can't I find? Oh, there it is. I couldn't find Facebook on my phone. I
yeah, I
cannot
got
tell you.
it.
I can't tell you how many times in the last year. I mean, especially last year when things were really bad, where I would just say to myself, or I would say to someone on the phone, "What is time anymore? Like, what the hell is time?" Because it's like Tuesday felt like Monday, and Saturday felt. It's just days. Just you just didn't know what day it was, what month it was. So
No,
yeah,
and the
I
whole
still don't have
pandemic
any.
made it worse.
What's that?
I said the whole pandemic thing made it
Yeah,
worse.
yeah. But
Yeah.
even now, time is still hard to grasp. You know?
I don't know. Well, when you get to be my age, you just it's insane. It's like whiz. It just all whizzes right
Oh,
by you.
stop.
It's true.
Hey, I'll
See,
be
you'll
entering a new day.
remember when you get to be my age. You'll remember I said that. Isn't that like such a mommy thing to say?
Well,
Wait till you.
hey, I'm heading towards a new decade pretty soon.
I know, but you're doing great, Eric. Did How you doing? Are you walking a little bit? I can't in this
Yeah,
heat. I can't go out in it.
yeah. No, I did not. I didn't today, but I have been, and um, the scale has been kind to me as of late.
I was happy when I went to the doctor. I was happy.
Well, but
Let's
I
just
mean,
put it this way. I thought it was going to be worse. So
well, but I also weigh. I mean, I've started to like weigh myself fairly on like a weekly
and
basis.
that is the best way to lose weight because you watch the scale, and if you pick up a pound, then you talk to yourself about it. You know?
Yeah, but I've also learned that I can't get too discouraged. Where from week to week, I mean, yeah, I would love for it to go down a pound week after week after week. But if I pick up a pound, I'm not gonna get too discouraged over a pound. Obviously, if I gain 3 pounds in a week, then clearly something is wrong. But no, I'm monitoring. I wish my mom was listening right now, but she'll watch later. No, I'm monitoring certainly my portion control and what I'm eating, when I'm eating, uh, combined with obviously doing some exercise. But like you said, I mean, like this week coming up, we're going to have some really hot days, and I don't want to. I mean, I want to get my steps in, but I don't want to push myself to the point of heat exhaustion. So,
Well, I do have a bicycle, and I find if I get out, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, I can get a bike ride in. I can get about 3 miles in.
that's
But
great.
yeah, but after that, I won't go out in it. And I do have a little routine that I do with weights here at the house inside. It's just 10-minute routine, but it's something.
Now, how do your legs feel after a 3 mile bike ride? I mean, do you feel it after?
No,
No.
I've stayed in shape, even though I'm heavier than I was as a younger woman, which is something sometimes you can't avoid that. It's
Well,
just
listen, I'm gonna.
hereditary and, you know.
I'm heavier than I was when I was a younger woman too. So I'm in the same.
Are you trying to tell us something, Eric?
That's a whole nother show that will be debuting next year.
Oh, well, I'm going to personally wait for that one.
And the theme song, we're going to have a theme song to that show. It's called You've Changed.
You've changed.
Actually, if people should check that song out. Marlena Shaw, to me, does the quintessential version of that song, and people who've never heard You've Changed need to listen to that song and listen to.
I love Marlena Shaw.
And y'all
love her.
Yeah, but she does a version of You've Changed, and the lyrics to that song, they tell quite the story. And yeah, Marlena, I mean, certainly, obviously I'm excluding tons of other artists who covered that song. I mean, Jimmy Smith did a version on the organ, but that's a song you need to hear sung, because the lyrics talk about how, well, I don't want to spoil it, but the
Joni Mitchell did kind of a jazz. Of course, everything she did was jazz influenced, but she did a whole album of standards, and she did You've Changed on it, and I do enjoy her version of it very much.
Yeah, Joni Mitchell. Wow.
Just saying. Well, I love Joni. Anybody that is any worth their salt at all loves Joni.
Exactly. So we should real quick, because we want to play a.
Please set us up for our fabulous guest tonight.
Oh, actually, I was.
Oh, you were on another thing? Okay.
Well, no, I was going to. I was going to set people up for your big gig next weekend. I just wanted to remind people that Nancy's going to be performing as part of the 2021 Fulton Jazz Fest. All the information is at fultonjazzfest.com. It actually kicks off this Wednesday at Tavern on the Lock with Joe Cortini and Scott Dennis.
My sweet
favorites. Then the Swingin' Big Band is playing on Thursday, August 12th, Friday the 13th at Lock 3 Canal View Park, which is right behind Tavern on the Lock. You've got the sounds of the Unity Street Band, Longwood Jazz Project, and Brass Inc. And then, to cap it all off, Saturday the 14th, again, right behind Tavern on the Lock. Music starts at 4 with ESP Jazz, followed by my co-host, who's going to tell us about a special addition to her ensemble, and then the fabulous Ripcords with the Boneyard Horns close it out.
Oh, that's some good dancing. Oh, that's going to be fun. I really complimented Joe. I said that because what I like to see happen there, we put the jazz on and we're done with the jazz like at 8. And let's bring out a band where people can party, man.
Oh yeah, and the
not that they couldn't party to us sometimes, but
no, they get it done.
Dance
and for people who care, yours truly, I am dusting off my my MC shoes, and I will.
You didn't tell me that. You should have surprised me, Eric.
Well, I could have, but I probably would have broken the secret to you this week. But I kind of asked permission from Joe Cortini, and Joe said, by all means, come on out. So I'm going to have the good fortune of emceeing on Saturday, and you and I are going to get to
just a minute to be the timeout people together on stage too. Eric,
yeah, we're going to do
we'll do our kibitzing back and forth.
We'll kibitz a little bit, but again, I don't want to eat into your.
Nobody cares. They love it. People are just gonna be so happy to be at a live event, at a live music event with all the people they love in one place.
I mentioned about a little addition. You want to mention that there's an extra addition to your group?
Well, we decided this is a fun thing, and I decided this with the producer, Joe Cortini.
Yeah.
And we thought, why don't we add also Dino Lucido into the mix?
Love it.
And so now we're in organ heaven, baby. So I'm going to do, so Akiko and Joe will do their thing, because they have a little thing that they do.
Joe Magdarelli.
I'm going to do, I don't know how many, 4 or 5 numbers with Dino. Then I'm going to do a couple numbers with Akiko. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh,
so much fun.
Yeah, and again, I'm excited because it'll be our first chance to see one another in person. Since
I can't wait.
Since I think I saw you at the 443
I'm
back
gonna cry. When I get that hug, I'm gonna cry.
It's gonna be a big squeeze. Let me tell you.
I'm ready, and I'm squeezable.
Well, all right. It is 10 after, and you are. I know you are. You're like Charmin. You are very squeezable. Except they say don't squeeze the Charmin. I'm gonna squeeze the vocalist though.
Give me a
No, we are absolutely thrilled to have this young lady joining us. I mean, I got to first know her way back when. Of course, no. Now I'm making it seem like she's old, which she's not. But I do remember the days of when she was in the horn section, the trombone section, at Liverpool High School under the direction of Jim Spatafor. And
wow, great program over there. Great program.
Tremendous program. So many fine people have come out of that program, and this young lady is right there among them. I mean, for what she's done since she graduated from Liverpool, what she's done here in Central New York, winning SAMMY Awards, being a part of multiple bands, including her organ trio group, her New Orleans-based band called Second Line Syracuse, to becoming a jazz educator, to having a chance to study with trombone legend like Steve Turre. I mean, this woman got a master's degree
I'll
in
have to tell her about that. I've worked with him.
Oh gosh, I mean, and she's also had a chance to study. She studied under Curtis Fuller and Wycliffe Gordon, and
Wycliffe. Who doesn't love Wycliffe? I'm telling you. I got
a picture of Wycliffe that I'm going to bring up, but and again, so she does jazz educating. She's also a mother to a beautiful 10-year-old boy.
She's an excellent mommy. I know how hard she works to balance her career. I want to talk with her here about it.
Yeah, I want you to bring her on.
Are you going to put a video up, or what are we doing?
You know what? I was gonna ask her first, but you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and play.
Let's bring her in.
This is always that moment where we get audio, and we're about to get video. And there she is.
Yay!
And look at this, we get our cat.
What a cat cameo!
She obviously knows the drill.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, look at how pretty. So is this a boy?
Pardon?
Is that a boy kitty?
Oh, no, this is Minnie. She's a girl.
Aw.
Minnie the moocher.
Too. She's so pretty.
What a cutie. Oh my God. We love cat cameos. Apparently this cat is going to be cat might be there for the whole show. Minnie, welcome. Stick around.
You know, she's my buddy.
We got a lot of questions to ask your mom. So Melissa, we want to play something from your SAMMY Award-winning Empowered CD. And is there any particular track that you would like us to play? I figured, give the guest their choice. I had Influence all queued up, but we can play.
That's a fun one. Yeah.
That's a good one. I know there's a track with you do one with Tia Fuller and with Ingrid Jensen, but I don't know. Influence is an original of yours.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, that's so awesome. We were talking before we brought you on. I think before we even went on the air, of how spectacular everything is on that record. And I have lots of questions I want to ask. But you could turn your mic up a little bit, maybe, if there's a way.
All right. I got to get fancier with my setup here.
Well, maybe when you're closer like that, we can hear you pretty good.
Better now?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's enjoy Influence. I think we could play the whole song. It's just about 5 minutes, and it's worth it for people who have not heard Melissa Gardiner. Well, let me just say this, Melissa. There's nothing like hearing Melissa live in person. But the next best thing is hearing her on record. And so I'm going to cue this up right now, although I realize that I want to make sure that...
we got Will Gorman in the room, too.
Oh, yeah, Will's here.
You know he'd show up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we are going to... I'm going to do it right this time. Make sure that I do not share
Don't leave
any
it up
part
to
of...
me. I'll screw it up.
I don't want to share any part of my desktop. So we're going to hear a cut from Empowered from trombonist Melissa Gardiner, who's our guest this week on Time Out. And then we'll come back. We'll chat with Melissa about the meaning behind this record. Again, it won a SAMMY Award. And what Melissa's done in such a short time in her career. So for right now, though, I got to share sound. I got to click this box.
You're worse of a mess than me. Look at you.
Oh, stop it. Stop it, Kelly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Melissa Gardiner and her song called Influence. there we go.
Wow.
Melissa Gardiner.
That's spectacular.
The song is called Influence from her SAMMY Award-winning CD titled Empowered. I think many liked it.
Clearly.
I think many definitely liked it. Sure.
Yeah, no, I have so many questions. I wish that, first of all, who's the personnel on that?
So that is Byron Cage on the drum set.
I was wondering if that was Byron.
Yep. And Daniel Pugh on the organ.
Really?
See, I care about the organ myself more.
I knew you were wondering that one.
Yeah, he actually helped write. He co-wrote this song with me.
I love how you broke it down to the halftime thing. That was beautiful, man. When you broke it.
Thank you.
That was I loved that. It was just the right. Ooh,
Yeah.
Very nice. So he was playing left-hand bass.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. I love your sense of space on that, and your sense of rhythm, and your sense of. First of all, I'm a funketeer from way back, so that kind of. So what inspired this piece of music? What was it called again, Eric?
Influence.
Influence. Nice.
So this album is kind of a journey. It's a concept album in that it's telling a story of a time period of my life from when I recorded my first album in 2011 until when I released this album in 2019. So it's really an homage to all the people who have influenced me, especially the other women in music who have influenced me. A couple of them are on the album as guests, Ingrid Jensen and Tia Fuller, but it's also I'm thinking about so many people who've been a part of my journey. Jerry Allen, Ellen Rowe, anyone who's basically picked up the pieces for me along the way. So
the idea, the name Empowered, that does not refer to a. Perhaps I don't understand the meaning behind the name of the record.
In a similar way, those same women have empowered me. And the cover art, which you saw with other women kind of holding me up, Robin Stockdale did that photo, by the way. She's
brilliant.
Incredible.
Brilliant.
She really changed the process for me in which album artwork is created, and it's equally part of the artistic expression. Because I feel like that image really helps describe what empowered means to me. Just been empowered by other women and empowered by the people who influenced me and have helped me get to where I am today.
So is there an element of the whole thing of how difficult it is for us to be women in the music business? Is there any element of that?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. I mean, you would know there's a lot of ups and downs in the journey, and this was starting at a time where I would call it the beginning of my career, right after I graduated from Juilliard, where I got my master's. So it's from that time frame till now where I'm at in Syracuse, where I finally found home in that sense of support and empowerment. So the first track is it's actually called 911 because it's a recording of a 911 call and a situation I went through with domestic violence. And it was another jazz musician who was part of that story. And so it really affected how I felt like a support and lack of support in the jazz community in New York City. And that was the groundwork for my career. And so the album goes from there to me finding myself, finding my support system, relocating, redefining what a jazz career would look like for me, and overcoming all those obstacles and finding the right support system to get to where I'm at today. And so I didn't let that situation define me. Rather, that's just the first part of the story.
Oh no, it's a moment of growth, a wonderful gift. They're all gifts, these things, that we think we're tripping over them, and they're there for us to step up and learn, make us stronger. Oh, they never stop coming, by the way, just to warn you. I went through one today that was monumental and epic.
I figure an album's just a moment in time. I always felt like recording an album had to be so permanent. I mean, it's marked in time, but I had to understand that it's really just where I'm at in that moment, and I'm constantly growing and changing as an artist, and it's just important to express the journey.
So I don't want to jump to where you are now. I'd like to go back to what it was like. I mean, how blessed you are, Juilliard. How wonderful that is for you to have attended that school and who have been in the presence of such greatness. So apparently something happened in that journey where you decided to come up north. Are you originally from Syracuse?
I am. Well, Eric was mentioned. He knew me since Liverpool High School.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He did mention that. Yeah.
This is a hometown in that sense. I moved here in 8th grade, but I moved a lot in my childhood. But I do feel like Syracuse is home, and I call it my hometown, where I spent a lot of formative years. Found footing again. So.
When I can still remember your. I can still remember you in the 315 All Stars.
Yeah.
Going.
Such a cool ensemble.
Yeah.
Eric, that was a pretty defining part of my journey too, because we got to go to New York City for essentially Ellington.
Right.
And for those of you who don't know, 315 All Stars was a group put together by Dr. Potter, and we were a conglomerate band with a bunch of different schools, and luckily they needed a third trombone player and brought me in. We rehearsed at Manly's Pebble Hill with the director there, and the band was incredible, and that was just the beginning of the journey for me. I didn't even really feel comfortable improvising at that point, but we ended up going to New York City for this competition called Essentially Ellington, and listened to the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra and got a CD there, and it was the first jazz CD I ever had. It was John Coltrane and Duke Ellington. So they gave each of us a free CD at the B.B. King Blues Club, where we heard the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra play. So I took that home and I wore that CD out, and still my favorite song is the first track, In a Sentimental Mood. So that was really defining, because that's why I ultimately wanted to go to Juilliard, because I wanted to be aligned with the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra and possibly end up in that band for my career. So started it all, and you were there.
Now you just mentioned that getting that recording of Coltrane and Duke Ellington, and I understand that there's a connection that you have to Alice Coltrane, correct?
Yes, that sparked that as well. It's all connected.
Right.
At University of Michigan, where I went for undergrad, Alice Coltrane came to perform in concert. And little did we know it was her second to last performance. But I had applied for and been awarded the John Coltrane Scholarship at Michigan. And so their daughter, John and Alice Coltrane's daughter, Michelle Coltrane, she reached out to me and the other student who won the scholarship and asked if we would sit in with Alice Coltrane when she came to perform, and just to highlight their scholarship program. And of course I was shocked and like, of course, whatever you need. So I practiced every John Coltrane song I ever knew. Of course I sounded like crap on most of them, but I wanted to be prepared. I was so nervous. I got there and found out that unfortunately Alice Coltrane wasn't in good health, so they weren't going to allow us to sit in. And I just lost it. I just sat outside of the auditorium sobbing. I couldn't keep it together. I was so upset. And Ravi Coltrane and Michelle Coltrane heard that I was so super upset, and they brought me inside to meet her. And she said, and so I was in Alice Coltrane's dressing room, and she said, "Get your horn out. You have your horn, get it out." And I was like, "Huh?" And she made me get my horn out. She's like, "Do you know Equinox?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Play it." So I played it for her, and she's like, "You're performing tonight." And so, although her children were obviously trying to protect her and make sure she stayed in good health, she overruled and allowed us to sit in, and it forever changed my life.
Wow.
A few years later, I did a concert or a festival in tribute of her, and Michelle Coltrane came and to support, and Ellen Rowe helped me get a grant funding to bring in Terry Lynn Carrington as the guest and honor other women in jazz. And so, yeah, she definitely had a huge impact on my life. That's definitely one that I'll never forget.
Yeah. Tremendous.
What an opportunity. My God. That's one of the blessings of being in these wonderful programs at these schools. And they bring in all the virtuosos to come and share their knowledge with you. So who else highly influenced you through those years?
I mentioned her a couple times already. Ellen Rowe was the chair of jazz studies at Michigan, and I still work with her to this day. We're performing at the Gen Conference this year, and she has a project called Momentum, which was recorded with guests Ingrid Jensen and Tia Fuller, alongside other incredible women in jazz. So that's where I really got to connect with and work with those other two women, which led to them being guests on my album. So it's all interconnected. But Ellen Rowe has been the most supportive, incredible role model I could have ever asked for. She is the reason why I felt safe enough to pursue jazz for my career. I actually went to Michigan for classical trombone because I didn't think I was good enough at jazz. Remember, I'm coming out of essentially Ellington with very little experience, even improvising. Jim Spatafore got me so far. He definitely did. He's a huge influence as well. And then when I got to Michigan, Ellen Rowe was just like, "Why aren't you a jazz major?" So she made sure that the department had women on faculty and other female jazz students, and she brought in women who were guests, and I never knew how much that would matter until I didn't have it. But she definitely laid the foundation for me there. It continues to support me to this day.
Now, am I thinking of where is there's a wonderful vocal program, but I don't know if it's Michigan. I can't think of her name. She left here from Syracuse and started a program there. But is there another college in Michigan that is famous for its jazz program?
Michigan State, I think, has a good program.
I don't know. I shouldn't bring things up that I don't have all the info on, but I know there's a great program there. I do know that.
Yeah, both Michigan State and Michigan have amazing programs, so it could be either.
Where is the college?
The University of Michigan's in Ann Arbor, and Michigan State is in Lansing, so they're not too far. And we all work together in Detroit often with other club dates and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Melissa, didn't Mike Tisco, the drummer, go to Michigan too?
Yeah, he did. He went there after me, so we missed each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he went there too.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was drumming so much there as he was figuring out other career moves.
Yeah.
When I made up the little poster or whatever you call it, that we put up for the show, I write those little bylines, and I wrote you were a multi-style trombonist, because I know you're interested in so much more than just jazz. And where do you find yourself these days musically?
First of all, I like that. Can I steal it?
Yeah, you certainly may.
Absolutely.
I think it's hard for musicians to be defined by one genre, even jazz musicians, because jazz in and of itself is ever changing. And there's so many different things that jazz could mean. I mean, just look at its growth over time. And so I do find it hard to define what I'm doing because I don't want to be limited by a definition. I'm influenced by so many different types of music. Um, Jazz is definitely the educational foundation I have, and classical as well. And there's a lot of structure there, which is great. Foundation is super important.
It's always the foundation that works.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I would say almost all the music that I really, really enjoy and benefit from, I have to give credit to Black American music, to
Amen.
American culture, because jazz, neo soul, R&B, future soul, it all has the same roots. And that's kind of, if I had to define it, those genres I connect with the most right now.
Yeah, well, they're all born in the blues and out of oppression. So it's magical. It's just magical. I love teaching the history of this music. I love teaching little ones, when I say little ones, 14, 15, making them understand that when they listen to Ariana, that they're listening to history. They're listening to so much history there. I love getting them to understand what they're hearing. So, that's a great question. What do you listen to?
So lately, I've been trying a new project out. It's called Vibe Check. I've had the organ trio for so long, and I still do, which I titled MG3 because I was putting a lot of updates and needed a name for it. But I wanted to further develop it, and so I landed on Vibe Check, which is more neo soul and less jazz organ trio based. And I was trying to figure out, what am I listening to right now that's really inspiring this? And there's a few different artists. Moonchild, I really like. I really like Hiatus Coyote. I really like Brass Tracks. So these are all people doing their thing right now. And of course, it all ties back to their influence.
I don't know what any.
Come on, Nance, get with the program.
To like Robert Glasper, Roy Hargrove.
Oh yeah.
Lineage for all of this.
Okay, that I know.
Now, believe me, I got to look those bands up after the show myself. So.
See, Eric, you old smarty pants, you.
I was just pretending to of course. Oh, please, of
I
course
know.
I know.
Don't be out pretending and shit.
I'm not as hip up to the music as I thought. So.
Well, the kids keep me. I call them kids because they're kids to me. One of the first questions I ask them all is, "What are you listening to?" And so I learn about the music because I really don't. What's happened for me, and I think I've talked about this before, is music has become academic, unfortunately. I've listened for 50, 60, 70 years of my life to music, and it's after a while, it just becomes like this, I'm putting it under the scope and I'm figuring out, you know what I mean? It's hard to just sit back and enjoy music when you've been an educator for so long and been in it for so long. I worked all day cleaning the house. I didn't have music on all day. I want the silence because I want to come to it fresh, So that's why I asked you what you're listening to. We're going to write those down.
We will. No, we are. I have to put this picture up, if for no other reason. I just love Will's hair in this photo.
I should also say Will's also on the album. He's on track 4. I've had the amazing pleasure of working with many incredible organists, and Will and I worked together a lot when he was in Syracuse, and it was really cool to be part of his journey, and I'm glad that he's a part of this too.
And he's working on his vocal. I mean, he's not just a player. I mean, he's working on his vocals too. Right?
It's really cool to follow him and see what he's up to.
Yeah, we worked hard. We worked together a long, long, long time. And one of my cherished memories was towards right before he was getting ready to go to William Patterson. Is that it? Is that where he went?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, in New York. And I said, let's not have a lesson. Let's just play. I'll sing and you play. And we would spend the whole hour just running through tunes, and then of course I would comment on, the way he was accompanying and the things he was thinking about doing and the things he might want to think about doing. And brilliant young man, and he's really getting a lot of acclaim in New York. He's getting a lot of calls to work. And he's got a gig that pays the bills too. So, New York is where you got to be when it comes to that. It's hard. How do you find working out of Central New York? And how do you find that for your career? Do you find that? I know you got your hands on a lot of pots, and I want to talk about all the great things you're doing. You have one of my students in one of your Silver Arrow organizations.
Yeah. So in New York, I was just getting started. I'm not sure what would have come if I had stayed. But it was more a grind. It's definitely a grind. It wasn't paying the bills. But I was learning so much musically, just trying to be a part of everything that I could. And I was able to keep those connections, which was really, really important to me. And then Syracuse, surprisingly, I didn't expect to have the ability to make a living as a musician full time here. And that's been really, really incredible for me, because when I first moved back, I was pregnant with my son. I was 9 months pregnant, and just getting a fresh start, and I was like, started at Red House as an internship through public assistance program called Jobs Plus. That's where I started. And then Red House, created opportunities for me there, connections. I was part of the arts and really grew out of that. Was able to transition and find my footing again. And I had a few salary jobs and really got so busy with musical gigs to the point where I had to jump off the cliff.
Love it.
And so my son was still little, and I was just doing so much, and it just was. I remember the day where I wrote this Facebook post like, I'm a full-time musician. I'm a musician. Like, this is me. This is it. And that was just so cool. And the level of support I've received here, the difference in community and how I feel here is tangible. And I credit, I don't take it lightly when I say I'm a professional musician. That means a lot. Really.
Yeah. There's a community here that it's cross-genre supportive. It is totally. You can hang out with so and so in some R&B band or some rock band, and they're all just as supportive to one another.
Yeah,
we have an amazing music community.
It's a very cohesive community, and you really see it. Even though they didn't have it this year at the Palace, but I mean, we've all been a part of the SAMMY Awards, and you really see it at the SAMMYs, especially in the lobby there. You see people from all different genres just conversing with one another, and you just see all these different avenues come together because, again, whether you're playing in a hard rock band, a blues band, a jazz band, R&B, it's all about the power of music and entertaining, and we have such a big pot here in Central New York, and there's so many different tastes that you can get out of that, and yeah, everybody tends to support other people. And I know when you see another musician coming to one of your gigs, even if they are a musician of a different genre, it's a good feeling to get that support from your
Yeah, I miss that. I haven't been out in so long. When have you played yet? You did a couple of those things with the Silver Arrow.
I've been so busy.
Really? Tell us about it, though.
Trying to get it all in before I have to slow down again. But I have been slammed since June maybe. It's been amazing. I am so grateful.
So are they gigs, are you in support of someone, or are they Melissa Gardiner gigs, or?
Most of what's happening is Silver Arrow. So Silver Arrow is a company that it's actually under a larger umbrella, International Artist League, and I started getting random calls to play wedding gigs in Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, and I was like, what is this company? What is going on? Because they would contract musicians and put them together based on
Like Nick and the Nice Guys, that idea, yeah.
similar, where they would curate musicians based on what the client's looking for. And I really, really loved it. I had so much fun. It's a great company because every musician they bring on board is super talented, just the top musicians in every area. So I was like, why don't we have a Syracuse chapter? Like, I know so many Syracuse musicians who would do such a great job with this, who would benefit from this, where Silver Arrow would benefit, and so would the musicians, because the pay offers for these opportunities were triple what we were used to getting. And I was like, my community needs these opportunities. We shouldn't be bringing in bands that aren't local for local things. So the company was super supportive, and they brought me on as a producer, and I started a Syracuse chapter for the band, where I was able to bring in, it's kind of like an unofficial union. I hate to use that word, but it's what it feels like, where we just kind of banded together and made sure the work was going to the people here. And so it's been growing exponentially since. That was about 3 years ago. COVID was definitely a drag, but I was able to postpone most of those till now. So we've tripled up on weddings. We've got weddings Friday, Saturday, Sunday, corporate events, other things. And it's really shifted the whole gigging economy for a lot of the working musicians here today, because now they're understanding their worth even more. They're improving musically, they're getting to connect and network with other artists from other regions, because I do mix and match Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo, Albany. And so it's been really, really cool. That's my main thing right now. I'm also doing photo video for them, bringing on a team of photo and video artists. But I'm also, working with my own groups as much as I can as well. I've got a couple performances coming up there. I've got a duo thing with Dan Pugh next week at the Salt City Market on Sunday the 15th. And then I'm doing
I hope he gave you more of those. Do you sing when you do those, Melissa?
I do, yeah. I don't sing with Silver Arrow because I feel like my style isn't commercial per se, but I do sing with my own groups. Probably really shy to sing in front of you, but I feel like it's a work in progress. But I really
had talked about it, that gig. Remember that gig we did, and like the band was smoking, and like, where were the people? We were like, that was the strangest thing. But we all enjoyed each other's company and music so much. Oh. Remember that? But you were talking to me that night about singing, and about, you wanting to get out there and do it. But, just keep doing it on these little gigs. Get 2 or 3 tunes in a night, and, you got
to start somewhere. And, I think that I was always shy to sing because, first of all, I'm very stubborn, and I was very annoyed that people didn't respect me as a trombonist first and foremost. They saw me even with a horn and were like, "What, are you singing tonight?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not singing. I'm playing trombone." So like, stop assuming.
I mean, that stereotype has lasted for as long as I can remember. I mean, you see a woman on stage, even if she has an instrument, you automatically think, well, she must also sing. And the truth is that women have evolved into so much more than just being classified as singers. There are fantastic female musicians, more than ever before, who just simply play, whether it's piano or trumpet like Ingrid Jensen, or trombone like yourself. Again, the days of Oh, well, women,
Well,
there's a
it
woman,
wasn't
she's got to be a
always so. There's a lot of famous female bands, but they were like so separate from the mainstream. You didn't hear a lot about them. There were famous female drummers and entire female organizations, but things have changed. They are changing. I personally feel that instrumentalists still are having extra effort to weed their way in. There's effort. So what you're doing, the path that you're creating and the path that you're walking on is extremely important for women. Not just an instrumentalist, but just for women in music in general. Because, you may have joked about that, but you're doing just something that's so important for everyone. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you and I, we talk here and there, and we're talking about this person or that club and blah blah blah, but you may not know how much I highly regard you and what you're doing as an artist, and what you're doing as a promoter, and as a woman in general in the music business. It's powerful. And you don't do it you haven't got an agenda. You do it because you love it, and you want to create music, and you want to create opportunity, and that is something that we applaud you for. We really applaud you for that, whether it's Syracuse or wherever it is. We really do.
We just got a great comment from, speaking of wonderful musicians, Joyce DiCamillo.
Oh, yes.
From Syracuse, who says, and you're right, Joyce, and I was probably wrong to say what I said, is that Joyce says there were, and then she capitalized, always eminent women, musicians, who never opened their mouths to sing. And you go, Melissa. So yes, I didn't want to imply that back in 30, 40 years ago there were not fine female instrumentalists, but now the doors have opened more so than ever before. And,
right. I think when we say I'm creating a path, I feel like the path is there. It's been worn out, and there's been several before me who have walked this path. But we just got to keep walking it to establish the pavement. I guess just to kind of come back to what I was saying before about the singing, I didn't want to feed into the stereotypes. So I feel like in a way I almost deprived myself of that experience. And so it's really great to have the support I have now to experiment with it a little bit and extend my voice. I feel like I'm a jazz musician, trombone is my medium, just adding voice to my medium. But
just remember something that's very important. There are no bad singers. There are only bad communicators. So as long as you can communicate with your audience, even with a voice. I mean, I always bring up Louis Armstrong. This was not a great instrument. His voice was not pleasant, but he was able to communicate so well. You could take it. I mean, I teach proper singing. I mean, learn how to use your instrument properly. It's just like technique, I don't get into a lot of jazz with a lot of people because demographically I don't have that here, There's some that they're interested in it, but just sing, go for it. Doesn't have to be the best voice in the world, but if you're telling the truth, you're gonna win.
No, that's everything. You just said it. It's connecting and communicating is everything, and being confident. Foundation, technique, all that's great, and then you got to keep working on that to get to the next level. But I think the first step is exactly what you just described.
Well, you never stop that quest. I mean, I am never ashamed to say that I am 70 years old, and I never stop creating. I get up in the morning and I'm here thinking about, okay, I got to work on this tune, I got to work on that tune, I got to do my scales and make sure I'm good and blah blah blah, and like it just never stops.
I mean, she creates more than most people do before they have breakfast.
Yeah. I'm always working. I do music 24/7, just
Yeah,
like
you do.
you.
True artist, right there.
Yep. But I
Um,
figured out how to make a living at it, which is, and like I said, and I used to love playing weddings. You know, some people, I mean, in New York they call them club dates.
That's right. Damn right. You're talking my dad's language.
Yeah, they call them club dates, and I'm going, wait, that's confusing. So, yeah, oh my God, I miss playing weddings. I don't get asked too often to do it anymore because they prefer young people, but that's another whole thing that we could have a conversation about.
We
But I
can't.
miss it, man. It was great. You got to play and you weren't under scrutiny by anyone. You just got to be with your friends that played, and you played, and it was just like no stress, and everybody danced and had a great time. I loved working at weddings. I loved them.
People just want to have fun.
Yeah. So the Silver Arrow thing is that's a great little gig you got there. Do it. Make the money, young sister. Go make that money.
We know that you have so much more to accomplish as a musician. You talked about yourself as a professional musician, but I need to ask you but sometimes it gets to the last few minutes of the show, and then it occurs to me like, oh, wait a minute, but I just need to ask you now, as important and as vital as music is, how did life change when this little guy came into your world? And we should say that he's not like so little anymore. He just celebrated, am I right, his 10th birthday?
Yeah, he's 10 now.
And that's your son Julian. How did motherhood change you, or as
how did you juggle that? That's a hard one. I did not do well at that. I didn't do well at that. But how did you do at it?
You adapt. I've had to figure out how to make my life flexible. And as musicians, we have that, unless we're touring or something, which can be difficult. I've had to build a really great support system, my family, my fiance. And without that, it would look different. I might not be playing as much. And at first I wasn't, but if any musicians are out there listening to this and you're a young woman and you're not sure how you're gonna have a family and be a musician, I would say there's always a way to make it work. Just have to be flexible and adjust as needed.
Yeah, I stayed up here because my daughter's family was here. My mother was here. Her father's family, who I didn't stay married to him, but they're here, and we stayed close, all of us. So she had a really great family network, and I was able to go out and play and still keep my music going and know that she would be in a clean, safe environment at night when I was out. But there were many a nights, I don't know if this has happened to you, but there was many a nights when I had to bring her to a gig and put her to sleep on the couch in the office.
Oh yeah, especially when Cohen was little. Yep, he knows.
That's hard. I mean, we do that. But if you talk to any woman musician, you're going to hear that story. That's not unique. We've all done that,
Being the boss, I've kind of forced into situations where I had to create opportunities if I wanted them, but it put me in an advantage because then I could dictate the terms. Then it helped me raise the bar too. Like, listen, I can't do this gig unless I have childcare sorted out, and I need to be able to pay for childcare, so I needed to pay enough to be worth it for me. And it just, overall raised the bar in a very surprising way. I thought it was over for me for a while. Wow. But people stepped up, and I had no choice but to step up, and so it really helped me realize my worth too.
I think that's something about you that another wonderful thing I admire is you are just a brilliant young businesswoman. You have and that all came out of this necessity in your life. You saw there was a necessity, and if you were going to do your love, which was music, you had to figure out how to make money and how to take care of and put all this stuff in line, and you did, and you're doing it. I mean, the Silver Arrow thing is a fabulous thing, and that'll take you a long and supply you the funds to do your next record? Are you planning a next record?
Exactly. That's exactly it. I'm not trying to force it. I want it to naturally happen. I'm just slowly building here, rebuilding, and trying to keep it as organic as possible. And those opportunities, Silk Arrow and other people's projects, that really affords me the flexibility to be on my own timeline with my own creative projects. So, great.
It's hard. It's hard. We have to make a living, and I don't have a partner, husband, person, so I run the whole show, and it's tough, and it's made me a little tough, you know. It's a hard.
You're
It's a
an
hard.
inspiration. You're an inspiration too. You're definitely one of the women I would pay homage to throughout my experience.
Well, do something swinging on your next record for me.
you've created opportunities for me too, and I'm really grateful for both of you.
Well, we thank you. We thank you for coming along and carrying the torch, my dear. And you got the torch, and you made a very good point at the beginning of the show of how, and I'm so on board with this now. It's all of these influences that are pushing the jazz envelope forward. What is jazz? I love to ask when we have a jazz musician on, what is jazz for you? What is it to you?
That's a very deep question. I don't know how much time we have left here.
That could take us right to the end of our show.
But I think that COVID has really forced me to figure that out. And I'm still figuring out that answer. Like I said, it's a journey that we're all on. But I think it's kind of forced me to look within and figure out what is it about this music that I'm connecting with so much. And we kind of touched on it before. This music is incredibly soulful. And for me, I've learned it's not way harder for me to make music by myself or to practice by myself than it is for me to make music with other people. And so what it is for me is connecting with other people. It's that conversation, it's that communication. I could be pretty socially awkward with I was super, super shy my whole childhood.
Yeah, you're quiet. You're kind of quiet. But I love that about you.
Behind the trombone, it all goes away.
Yeah.
So that's what my comfort zone, like having conversations with other people on the stage without words needing to be said. And so when I didn't have that for a year or so, it was really evident that that's what I needed. And so that's what it is for me, that connection, that social music, it provides. I love these photos.
It's our Eric. He digs up everything for us. This is great.
Somebody's been on Facebook.
No, well, wait, I'll tell you something, Melissa. This is actually a photo that has been on my desktop for the past couple of years. I remember taking this picture when I saw it was the CNY Jazz Orchestra, and you sat in the Rochester Jazz Fest. You and Bill Palange, there's Rob Robson and Jeff Stockham in the back. And forgive me for forgetting the young man.
That's Joe Vanable.
That's Joe Vanable. Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell you guys to okay, just give me some fun look. And it just shows the looseness that you have with the people that you're playing with. And so I've always kept this on. I did not actually, I don't think this picture exists except on my desktop. I said, wait a minute, I'm going to use this since we're going to have Melissa on, but it's just fun. The interplay that you have with you've played with so many different amalgamations and different groups, whether they be jazz or whether they be jam bands like Wolfpack. In fact, I think, wait a minute, I think there's something else here that I think I need to share with Nancy and with our audience. I think Melissa can explain who she was playing with in this photograph.
Oh.
Woo! Yeah, girl! Whoa! Look at you go!
Yeah, that was incredible. So what I was most surprised by, that's Dave Matthews in the background there.
Yeah, she just casually says, "Oh, it's Dave Matthews." Yeah.
Well, I was lucky, really lucky to be part of this. The trumpeter for his band, Rashawn, he invited me to be a guest, and it's totally floored, unexpected. And what even threw me more, because these opportunities happen every once in a while in a musician's life, but what I didn't expect was how responsive the Syracuse and CNY community would be because of this. People recognized me at Best Buy. Were you that guest that sat in with Dave Matthews? And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, well, that was me. I was like, for all the things I've done, this is the one thing that the community really rallied around. Like, I was totally shocked.
They love fame more than they know. They don't know anything about music, and you need to keep that in mind. They don't
know how to handle
know nothing. We're the only ones that know about music. They don't know any, but they know about fame, and they love fame.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
But that's why you have to keep a balance of keeping yourself visible and keeping your shit together. You know, musically, you've got to do both. And I tell my students that this is not about just, you know, what do you do? Look, what are you wearing to the gig? What is that? You know, what I think.
That's what it takes.
I see guys show up with t-shirts. I said, no, go home. No, I don't know. You looked adorable. I loved your outfit on that stage. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
Remember when we did that gig for the, you and I did that? We had so much fun. It was the Respect concert.
Yeah.
Joanne, she's someone I want to have on. We're going to take a little sabbatical for a while, but anyway, we did that. And I didn't tell the band. I was just being such a little shit. I didn't tell them what I was going to do. Because Twisted is a 12-bar blues basically. You know, there's not much to it. So I just said, just play the blues and I'll be fine. And you and I were going back and forth and trading fours, and we were just blowing the roof off that sucker. Remember that? That was so much fun. And the guitar player was like, oh my God, what is she going to do next? Ah! It was great. I had so much fun.
Now,
Oh
now
my God.
when you say respect, are we talking anything to do with Aretha?
No. It's my old brain. She's my sister and friend. Why can't I think about her name? Who is it? Starts with a J.
Joanne, yeah.
Joanne, right? Joanne Jewett.
Oh, Joanna Jewett. Okay.
Think of her name. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. That's another brilliant businesswoman.
You mentioned respect, or RESPECT, and of course it got me thinking that Melissa, talk about fame, had the opportunity to be on stage with the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin,
Do you have a picture?
when she came to Syracuse. I do not. I hope Melissa has somewhere.
There's some on the stage, so I got to share the stage with her and play the show and be in the band. Thanks to Frank Malfitano for that one.
Sure.
She had her musical director rehearse us. This is level of greatness I just can't even imagine. She had him rehearse us, and then we played an opener. She came on stage for the show. That was the first time I saw her, and I was in awe the entire time. She absolutely blew me away.
A lot of my friends were in that band. Was it Joey Corella up there and Stockham, and then my friend Andy Calabrese was playing keyboard. Her conductor had the piano, but he was also playing synth and all. That's and Frank, God bless him, a dear friend all my life, let me stand right there at the side of the stage.
Yeah.
You have to know that Aretha Franklin is my queen.
Really slight, and I wasn't sure, I know all her records, but I wasn't sure how she would be live, and it was just blew me away. But then we played a closer, played her off the stage. We got off the stage finally, and she was, in her private area, and I never got to meet her. I didn't want to harass her.
That's so typical.
It doesn't matter. She's allowed to have her piece, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah.
So there might be a picture of me on the stage with her somewhere, but that's probably it.
An interesting Aretha tidbit: she doesn't ever do air conditioning. So she won't, when she rides in that bus, that huge bus that she had, no aircon.
Wow.
So, no aircon, because air conditioning is bad for your voice. She won't go in a air conditioned, like a nightclub and stuff. It's like really weird. It's really good. I mean, it's.
Now I don't unfortunately couldn't find something from that show, but I did find a nice picture. I'm not sure how many years ago this was, but of Melissa sharing the stage with quite a few of your guys. Nance, you got I know you got a guy.
That's a different kind of guy.
But you got, I'm talking about your musical guys, and this is a place that Nancy knows quite well.
Oh!
In Rochester.
Oh! What is this? Look at this crew.
Now, is that you? I believe that is you pre-Juilliard.
Oh, that's publicly funded by you-know-who. Let's not go into that. Okay. Steve, you can have a good laugh. She knows what I was talking about. This is a wonderful club. This club is my go-to in Rochester. Beautiful stage, beautiful lighting, expert sound. Everything about this club is amazing.
Who's
love
playing keyboards, Nance? I forget.
That's Dino Monster.
That's right, Dino Lucido, right.
That's a DD Monster.
Steve Brown and Joey Corello, and that's Paul Merrill, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Mike
and the bass player?
Peter Maklowitz.
Oh, Peter Mack. Sorry, Pete. Yeesh.
That's his band. He put this together.
Yeah. Anyway, I came across that photo and you know, it's just I'm sure it takes
That's a great photo.
Yeah, I'm sure it
I can only imagine what that sound must have sounded fabulous. Did anyone sing, or it was just instrumental?
Instrumental. You know, Peter Mack wanted to put together a band that was just bebop. We, you know, rarely get the opportunity to do that anymore. People, you know, trying to be a professional musician, you have to make sure you're working with an audience that's supporting you. And we've lost a lot of support for bebop music, and he just wanted it to happen. And luckily, Love and Cup was great about it, and we got to play there, and it was a great audience. So it was really cool to be able to do that and get some of those charts out with Joe.
I unfortunately like bebop way too much. It's very hard because I would do bop tunes all night if I could, and then ballads that are so slow that you would just drive a truck through them, you know. But I can't. I've learned how to throw in recognizable stuff because you have to. I do one for me and then one for you. So it's so why trombone?
I played trombone since I was 9, and I picked it out because I thought it looked cool. So it was really that innocent at the time. But, you know, I stuck with it because I had the right level of encouragement. People are like, oh, wow, you're really good at that. And that's all it took, you know. So if you see a young woman in jazz, you know, or I wasn't in jazz at that point, but anybody who may just need a little boost at that age, you know, middle school, high school, the best thing you can do to support students is encourage them and compliment anything you can.
I do all the time. We talk about everything that's right and we fix what's wrong.
Exactly.
That's the way we do it. Yeah, I have some youngsters. I have a couple youngsters. I don't take them under 12, but sometimes mommies are convincing. No, she really can. No, you don't understand. Every mother thinks her kid can sing. So let me send me some video and we'll see.
So you started at 9. Your son is now 10. Is music going to be?
Yeah.
I mean, it's already a part of your son's life, just considering who his mother is. But could you envision? I'm not trying to rush your son. Let him enjoy the years he has.
He plays trumpet.
Oh, look at this.
Who's he studying with?
Last year, right now he's starting with the school program. They're doing virtual lessons. Syracuse City School District has started, you know, this program. So it's great. I'm really excited for him.
And did he just decide that on his own, trumpet? He liked that idea?
Yeah, I mean, also I know personalities pretty well. instrument personalities, and he's definitely a trumpeter. But I'll admit that's an instrument I always wish I had learned to play too. 'Cause when I had trombone in middle school and high school, I was like, why can't I play the melody? And I
I
wanted
wanted,
to be that center of attention, so maybe I should have played trumpet too.
I wanted to play sax, but we ran out of them, so I ended up with a clarinet.
Hmm.
But it's all right. I mean, I really, it probably would have been a great addition to my act. But if you've seen like Joey DeFrancesco, he just picks up whatever instrument he wants and just starts playing it. It's unflippin' believable. Have you heard him play the sax?
No, I
Oh
haven't.
my God, you got to go look at videos on his.
Great.
That's one instrument I have
No,
not
like
heard,
a
Joey.
year ago, he didn't play sax, and now he's blowing everybody away.
My mom started us all in piano.
Oh,
I have
absolutely.
6 siblings, and I started Julian on piano too. I just think that's really like Joey, just understanding music at that level. It's really, you can pick up any instrument you connect with
You
later.
really can.
You have
You really can. I tell all the kids, please take, learn piano, learn piano. It's so, piano is the basis for all of it. It really is. I'm classically trained pianist. Although I don't comp real, like I don't comp real well behind the kids. I don't do that. Could you play piano?
Yeah, I actually play piano at a church. I've been with him for several years now, where I took over for Andrew Carroll when he moved on to a different gig. So I've been trying to keep my chops up there, and they've been really, really awesome, really super supportive. Mission Hope community in Camillus, New York. So still trying to keep up with that.
By the way, we should. I mentioned your CD, Empowered, won a it won a SAMMY Award, but we should also mention too that you were awarded, and maybe the youngest recipient of this award. You were awarded a Lifetime Educator of the Year Hall of Fame Award at the 2019 Syracuse Area Music Awards. You've also been a finalist for the National. I am reading this. I do not have this all memorized. But in 2017, a finalist for the National Music and Arts Educator of the Year Award, and you were inducted into the Liverpool High School Fine Arts Hall of Fame. So, I mean, for people who don't understand, jazz education, obviously you were on the receiving end of it. Now, being a jazz educator, it's not all about getting the accolades, but clearly it's something that is a passion of Nancy's, and it's going to be a passion of yours, I'm guessing, for the rest of your career.
Yeah, I think just all the people who have got me to where I'm at have made such a big impact in my life that I feel like it's just passing the baton and passing the torch, as Nancy said. And I feel like it's my responsibility to do the same, and it inspires me. If someone can have an impact in my life the way they did, then to be able to have that kind of impact for someone ahead of me, whoever's next, is just, it's a privilege. Absolutely.
Even though you have moments of shining, and I'm not saying you, I'm talking about an artist in general. Even though you have these moments of being a very bright beacon of light, it merely is still all about the journey of sharing love. And those moments, those times and spans in your career when you're like way up there, and so many artists get so upset because they aren't way up there all the time, and it's very hard to be. It's very hard to be. But what you did when you were up there is what you're bringing to everyone. That beautiful jar of love and light. Yes, we do share, and that feeling of sharing. Oh God, I love teaching. I really do love it. I love it a lot.
The same elements that bring you, that connect you to music, are the same elements that can connect you to teaching. You just have to be confident about it, stay true to yourself, so that you can best serve the people around you. What I was talking about that I was missing with music during COVID, that connection, that expression, that communication, it all can translate into teaching. So, speaking of light, I realized I was going with natural lighting, and I'm gonna go turn on a lamp really quick.
Oh, but we've got only 10 more minutes, so whatever you
Well,
want.
if you can't see me, that's why.
No, I mean we'll make sure we don't let you go completely into darkness. We'll wrap it up within the next 10 minutes. There's still enough light, and you are a bright, shining light yourself. I know that Nancy, I think, wanted to ask you, or I'll ask on her behalf, was Nancy knows him. You got a chance to study under Steve Turre, correct?
Yeah, I studied with him while I was at Juilliard.
And no, I don't know Steve. I don't think I ever even interviewed him. I just played his music a lot at WAER. But what was it like being under the tutelage of Mr. Turre?
First of all, I learned a lot from that experience.
Sure.
I think that, some of the stuff he did with Woody Shaw, for example, is just musically just incredible. A lot to learn from that. A lot to learn from what he can offer. And I came to Juilliard pretty headstrong, and I gave him a lot of pushback. I was a difficult student, and so I'm glad he didn't give up on me. I had to just bring my ego down a little bit to figure out how to get the most out of what he could offer. And so I think, it was a great thing for me to be able to reflect on and understand so that I can be a better teacher too. But yeah, Steve Turre and all my colleagues at Juilliard and the other teachers I had there, just priceless education.
What years were you there, Melissa, at Juilliard?
I was there 2008 to 2010.
I'm just thinking about my first call drummer, Carmen Intori. Did you know him? Was he there?
He wasn't there at the same time, but I did know him from Betty Carter Jazz Head, which was something like a residency that I got to do a couple times, once in 2006 and once in 2009. And I think it was the 2009 one where we got to work together there.
Oh, I think you and I talked about that before. But Steve Turre, he is a great example of how you become a well-known artist. I mean, he did that thing with the shells. If no one has seen, I wish we had thought about this to get a video of him doing his thing with shells.
Oh, I just saw a picture of. I almost.
Oh my God! And that's really turned his career into something spectacular.
Yeah, I got a good picture. I'm gonna post in a second.
I think from that, you just have to find the thing that makes you unique, and that's what he told me about the shells, and he was just like, just find the thing that makes you and run with it, so that was the lesson learned there. So it wasn't about,
I guess it is and it isn't, I mean, like, so what do you feel? Have you found something that you feel makes you, that you're logging on to, is that's a uniqueness?
I'm finding it. For the longest time, I felt like I didn't have enough to offer culturally. I didn't feel like there was anything significant I could latch on to and express. And I realized maybe it's my story that can inspire others, which is what Field empowered. And so I'm searching for my voice there.
Well, let that story. I mean, I'm right now reading Ricky Lee Jones's book, Less Stop Texaco or Less Chance Texaco. You really must read that. She's another person who moved a lot. You might really log on to that book about her greatness.
Yeah. And I think artists move a lot throughout as well and redefine themselves. So I'm just, we're all on that journey. But, I think there's some stylistic things that I've been able to make my own. So that's been really, really interesting to see what other students ask me about in master classes. And it's like, oh, maybe that's my thing. I didn't know I did this half valve sound thing, But, oh, cool.
Well, you don't have to have I mean, I tell everybody, don't do it for anything other than love. Just do it for love, and it will all fall in place. Because I really didn't find out my path until I was in my 40s, and you're not 40 yet.
Almost there, but yeah.
Yeah, we're hanging there. It's gonna come. It's getting a little dark. We can't see her anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn on the light. We got 5
All right,
minutes.
and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah, we'll let the light shine for the last few moments.
Oh,
Let there be light.
better than nothing.
That's better.
This little light of mine. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I have like this fancy lighting, and it's not here. It's at my studio space. So I wanted to be in my living room for this session.
So this might be a loaded. I mean, maybe it's kind of too late to ask a loaded question like this, but
Oh no, you always save them for last, Eric.
no. Usually I save some funny pictures for last, but I couldn't find any really embarrassing pictures of Melissa. Although there is, I will say, a funny Halloween photo on your Facebook page of you and Julian, but I wasn't going to share that, of you as Princess Leia and Julian as Chewbacca.
Don't make me unfriend you, okay?
Oh boy, that's you got to do a lot more to me before I unfriend you. But you know that could be a contender.
All right, getting away from that. Now, because this show is going to be out there. Anybody can come across it, and people of all ages. But you now, having done what you've done, what would you say to a youngster, male, female, who is interested in picking up an instrument? Doesn't necessarily have to be the trombone, I'm sure, but a young person who comes across this video, or just a young person in general who, say, is 8 years old, 9 years old when you first started. What would you say to somebody who has maybe a desire to start pursuing a music career? Obviously, everybody's journey goes down different paths, but you being the educator you are, the musician that you've become, as respected as you are, what do you say to somebody who's just picking up an instrument for the very first time? What do you say to them?
Well, I definitely was thinking about a career at age 9, but I think when someone first picking up their instrument, you just want them to have fun with the instrument and feel good about it. Just encourage them as much as you can, just enjoy it,
and be patient, right?
As much as you can. And when you're that young, you don't feel as set back by things as you do when you're harder on yourself as a young adult. So parents, start your kids young, because it definitely takes a lot of those doubts away. But if you're older and you're trying to pick up something, I would say the same thing. Just try to have fun with it. Figure out what you're connecting with, and stay true to yourself. Set a routine and stick with it. Same thing you would do if you're starting a new workout or something. Make it part of your life to the point where you can really enjoy it and start developing those good habits.
And don't be afraid to play wrong notes, I guess, right? Because
that's an improvisation epiphany. You can make mistakes. It's okay.
It's okay.
I've quoted Coleman Hawkins many a time on this show, but he says, if you ain't making mistakes, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love it. It never gets old here.
That really goes across all of life, doesn't it?
It does.
People are perfectionists. If you strive for perfection, you I lost my quote. I have a great quote and it just went out of my mind.
Oh no, it'll come to you in 15 minutes.
I'll text you.
So, Melissa, is there any place, as we wrap, any? I mean, I know you've done some traveling around this country, outside of this country, and I understand that people still have hesitations about traveling, because we are still, we are not in a post-COVID era, but if you could pick one city in the world that you've never been to and you would love to travel to hopefully perform one day, is there one city that's maybe on your bucket list, that's at the top of that bucket list? Or a country?
Brazil and India have both been
Ooh.
pretty high on my list for a long time.
Oh.
Wow. We have a person watching the show tonight from Barcelona.
Yes.
I mean, also that. You know, I'll go there. I'll go anywhere. But you know,
Yeah.
traveling gives you perspective that you can't get from your usual comfort zone, and
Mm.
it's really, really great.
You know, the traveling, I can tell you this, the traveling is the most important thing you will do. You know, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, I have survived quite well uh, having a home up here on Lake Ontario. Thank God for the internet. But the traveling is what does it. It really does.
It's part of
And,
the human experience.
huh?
It's a important part of the human experience to just get out of your comfort zone and get a fresh perspective on life and humans and cultures and all of that.
And their music and the music, yeah, that's so important. I mean, look at the Beatles were famous for that. They would go around and hear stuff and then write whole albums.
I wouldn't necessarily want to go there to play. I would want to go there to learn.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I get to play with them, I'll be learning by association because I'm learning while I've got the trombone in front of me, so.
Wow.
All right, and I'll throw one other bucket list question to you. Any musician, any genre, if you could somehow have your people get in touch with their people and have that person maybe be a special guest on a future recording of yours, or if you had the opportunity to maybe meet them and play live with them, just out of the blue, who might that be? That dream collaboration?
Oh wow. I haven't asked myself this question in a long time. This is a tough one.
I know. I'm putting you on the spot, and you don't have to answer because I don't want to be unfriended by you. So.
I mean, there's just so many people that I really look up to. Man, but I guess it's maybe in the realm of possibility someday. But I really like Erykah Badu or
oh yeah.
That would be really, really cool.
Love it.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah, I think the synergy would be
nervous, but I really look up to those women and love what they have to offer, and I would just be in awe the whole time.
Well, one thing I've learned is you decide what it is, and you just put your foot out and you start walking that direction. Exactly. And it's amazing how I have made so many things happen in my life simply because I decided I was going to do it.
That's the ticket. That's the formula. I've learned that too.
That's what people say. What, how are you gonna make another album? Where are you gonna get the money from? I said, you watch me.
Just do it.
I'll keep
it to happen. Yep.
So decide to be great and just go for it.
Look what you started, Eric. Remember this conversation in 10 years from now, okay?
Oh, believe me. Yes, trust me. I will. I absolutely will. And I just love your drive. I love your drive and your passion to
absolutely
create. It kind of reminds me of another woman I know. Oh yeah, my co-host. Yeah, I mean, just
yeah.
You're never satisfied.
And I have had the girls, the young women that are around in this area, have watched me. They know I'm strong. They know I don't tolerate any BS. They know that. They've watched me, and I still manage. And I love the feeling that I have shared my strength with so many of you young women. And that's what better gift can you give your musical family and your city and the people that you're around? I mean, there were times when I thought, oh God, you get that thing in your head where you think being famous is something that you want, but then there's that moment when you realize it isn't what you want, and you're already doing what you want.
Yep. And I can't wait to see
You're already doing it, and you're already doing it.
Yes, you are.
It's just a journey. It's just
understand it. Yes, you've definitely helped me describe it because I feel that too. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a journey, and you're already doing it. That's what one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is that you got a vision. You have a vision, even though the picture is not perhaps completely clear and in tune. You're moving forward. I love the forward motion of
Yep.
Melissa Gardiner.
Thank you. That
You
means a lot.
certainly are.
I love it. I feel it, and that's why we had you on tonight.
Melissa, I'm going to just put this up for people to see. We started the show. Where can people get this record?
So Bandcamp is the best place.
I love the Bandcamp. I'm a big fan.
Bandcamp is definitely the best place, the most supportive to artists.
Mm.
But yeah, it's available everywhere.
Okay.
Thank you.
And tell people what your website is.
melissamaymusic.com. I've got a couple public performances coming up, which I'll post there.
Okay.
Please do.
Stay in touch.
Let us know. We'll put them up on our pages as well.
I just can't get enough of looking at this. I mean, this photograph is
fabulous.
It really is so powerful.
This is partially Melissa's vision, but
Yes.
this woman, what's her name?
Robin.
She is.
Robin Stockdale. Yeah.
She is so brilliant. She did all those things for the other young lady that plays violin. I can't. She's brilliant. I wish I had something for her to do.
Well,
I just get to the point where I got my grandma slippers on. I think I'm done. Where's my comforter?
Yeah, I feel that way every other week.
Nancy is far from done. Hey, I don't think Melissa will mind. Can we plug Fulton one more time, Nance, since you and I will be there?
Yeah.
Fulton
Jazz Fest. Nancy Kelly next Saturday.
The great Joe Maggs, another great success story from Central New York. Did you ever meet Joe?
Yep.
You must have played next to him.
Yeah, I think at Fulton, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. What we love about Joe is he just enters the room like a veil of love, like just. I mean, I enter the room and just knock everything over. But Joe is so chill, man. And so Joe is going to be there with his fabulous wife, Akiko, who's a blues bass organ monster. And then we're also going to add Dino to the mix. It's just going to be fun.
Bob Snyder, right? And
Bob Snyder he's the star guitarist from Rochester, Eastwood School of Music.
And then Carmen, or as you call them, your Karmakins on drums.
Karmakins will be there.
Right. It's going to be a great day of music. That'll be at 6 o'clock. ESP starts things off at 4. I know Melissa certainly knows those guys and ESP. And then closing things out at 8 o'clock on the 14th is going to be the fabulous Ripcords with the Boneyard Horns. Jeff Stockham will be there. I know Jeff plays in that horn section, and I'll tell you, I've seen Melissa play in the horn section of the Black Lights. That's always been fun to see. So
it inspired me. She inspired me to present something to Joe.
She is an inspiration.
You're inspiring. You're very inspiring. We're just so glad you joined us tonight.
Absolutely. And for Fulton, people can go to FultonJazzFest.com to see the complete schedule. But Nancy and I will be there together having fun next Saturday, the 14th. MelissaMayMusic.com is Melissa's website, and you can also find her on Facebook and Instagram, and I all sorts of social media. And again, I look forward to certainly seeing Nancy next week, but Melissa, it's been ages since we've gotten a chance to see one another in person, and I look forward to that day. And I just look forward to following along your journey. As I said, I've been following since your days, sitting in Mr. Spatafor's band at Liverpool, and to see all the chapters you've written since then. It's remarkable, and I know that the book is far from complete. You have so much more to accomplish, so many more people to inspire, and I know you have inspired a lot of people in our audience tonight, and this has been a fantastic pleasure for both of us to speak with you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for tuning in and learning what these two are doing. This is really great.
Yeah, it'll be up on YouTube, and you can share it if you want to, or send it to loved people that would like to see it.
And we know there's somebody named Minnie that needs your attention.
Yeah, she's over it.
Oh, there she is.
The whole time, just sitting there next to mommy.
Good kitty. Good kitty. All right. Well, I again and wish Julian our best on the trumpet.
Absolutely.
We'll tell Stockham to look over his shoulder. Anyway, this has been a real thrill, and again, I think you've opened up some ideas. I can tell in Nancy's.
Oh, I got an idea going. I got to talk to Cortini.
I can tell.
So
I can tell.
I got an idea going.
All right, this has been a blast. Thanks so much, Melissa. It's been an absolute joy.
Thank you. Bye.
You have a blessed evening.
All right, and Nance, I'll see you next Saturday at Fulton.
Oh boy, will you ever.